Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10 p.m.
Right now at 10, the suspended Osceola County Sheriff expected in the courtroom tomorrow along with his co-defendants. What could be next in this case? And
to be a woman is, we feel fragile, it's scared. I think we need more protection.
They should have a security here 24 hours.
A community on high alert as police continue to search for the man they say attacked a woman at a local park.
now at 10 tonight, it has been a week since Lake County was hit with historic flooding, and now the cleanup continues. 20 homes were evacuated after a road collapse near the Spring Ridge neighborhood, and now we're learning that there may have been infrastructure concerns well before the flooding.
Your Lake County community correspondent Emily McLeod talked to neighbors about what could come next.
I'm here in the Spring Ridge Estates community here in Eustis, where a washout happened after last weekend's historic flooding. Eustis alone got hit with 17 inches of rain, but that road here on Creek Run Lane still washed out, and 20 residences had to be evacuated. Now, during that HOA meeting on Monday, a lot of people spoke out because they were frustrated and said they felt like they weren't getting enough communication and had questions about what would happen next for them. Eustis Fire Chief Michael Swanson says right now the focus is to get the road fixed, get people back into their homes, and secure the utilities. He says as long as the weather holds, it likely won't collapse anymore. Now, even though this is a private road, Chief Swanson says the city has a vested interest in getting this fixed because of the utility lines that run underneath it, which include a sewer line and a water main line. Swanson says the city is prepared to step in and help with funding if the homeowners association here in Spring Ridge Estates needs it. Now, we did hear from several residents during that HOA meeting, and a lot of them, like we said earlier, were very frustrated. Take a listen.
When we were at the meetings, the bids were to fix the berm, but they also said they wanted to repair the area by the bridge as well. I mean, I heard it. I went to the meetings, but nothing was ever done.
Now, some residents say they left the HOA meeting with mixed emotions, but ultimately, we spoke to one resident who was also evacuated. She says they just want to go home.
A lot of people don't understand what we're going through. It's just, we just want back home.
Now, residents did get to hear from an engineer during that HOA meeting on Monday, and a lot of them say once they heard from the engineer, they did begin to feel a sense of relief because they feel like there's now a plan in place to begin working on this project and to get things fixed. But as soon as we get any updates, including a report from the engineer that is going to be taking a look at this project, we'll be sure to bring you those updates on air and online at clickorlando.com. For now, reporting in Eustis, I'm your Lake County community correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
And as Lake County continues to recover from the intense damage those storms did last week, we will continue to bring you stories in that community. Go to clickorlando.com, see all of our reporting from the very beginning. Breaking right now, police are looking for a little girl who's been missing for months and they think could be in Orlando. So take a look at this picture here. This is 10-year-old Gabrielle Terrelong. She was last seen back in June in Hollywood wearing a white shirt, black pants, and some Crocs. Officers think she may have been taken from South Florida to Orlando with this woman right here, Pasha Davis. FDLE has now clarified the relationship, if any, between the two. They have not clarified. So if you see either of these two, you're asked to not approach them, but to call 911 right away.
The suspended Osceola County Sheriff, his estranged wife, and 3 other co-defendants have what's called a plea negotiation conference scheduled in court tomorrow in the racketeering case against them. Now, we told you Marcos Lopez and Robin Severance Lopez are among those accused of taking part in an illegal gambling enterprise. 3 co-defendants have already taken plea deals. News 6's Mike Valenti has been following this case and joins us in the newsroom with more.
These are discovery exhibits listing witnesses and papers that the state plans to use in its case against Marcos Lopez and Robin Severance Lopez. Some of the items listed include recorded jail calls between the Lopezes and names of people who work for a construction company that was retained to build a home for the defendants. One of those witnesses actually picked up the phone when we called Snow Construction. He confirmed that he and his colleagues are listed as state witnesses. The discovery document, filed last Friday, claims that Robin Severance Lopez paid Snow Construction a $2,500 lot reservation fee during her first visit to the company, which she contacted in 2022 to build a home. Prosecutors say Severance Lopez made all selections for the construction and that the staff had, quote, minimal contact with Marcos Lopez. The exhibit also provides context for the reason prosecutors may be interested in speaking to a previously listed witness, an employee at City Kia of Orlando, who sold Robin a $57,000 Kia Telluride. Prosecutors say Marcos Lopez wrote a $5,000 check, and either Robin or Marcos provided $5,000 in cash toward an initial deposit. The other items mentioned in this exhibit include mortgage documents, deeds, the defendant's marriage license, and records related to the dissolution of that marriage. So the dockets for 5 defendants in this case show they have plea negotiation conferences Tuesday. That's just what they call status hearings in Lake County. Marcos Lopez's attorney tells me emphatically her client will not be taking a plea. Our understanding is that these will be held on Zoom, and we know in Marcos' case, he will not be attending. But we, of course, will be covering them. In the newsroom, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Go ahead. Get on the ground.
All new tonight, body camera footage shows moments Volusia Sheriff's deputies arrested a man who they say attacked a person and threatened 4 kids with a knife. Trevor Nieves Gonzalez was threatening to shoot the 4 children until his dad came between him and the kids until deputies could get there. Nieves Gonzalez is charged with aggravated battery and child abuse.
All eyes will be on the Orlando City Council during tomorrow's election. In fact, several commissioners are facing multiple challengers. We've been hearing from people in those districts who have concerns over transportation and property taxes. Your Orange County community correspondent is talking to voters.
Yeah, it's a big day on Tuesday here inside City Hall behind me. In fact, 3 of the 5 commissioner seats could see new faces. Do you guys plan on voting tomorrow? With only hours until Election Day, voters in downtown Orlando say it's important to show up and vote. Did you pre-vote? Do you plan on voting? Was it not on your radar?
It was not on my radar. I had no idea there was even voting happening.
Derek Diablo says it's important for everyone to take part in the voting process. Why is it so important that people vote?
Well, as Socrates said through Plato, those of us who refuse to be involved in the political process accept being governed by our inferiors, and I refuse to do the latter.
In District 1, which includes Lake Nona, College Park, and Baldwin Park, current Commissioner Jim Gray is going against 3 challengers. In District 1, we've shown concerns from people who travel on Narcoozy Road. In District 1, regarding transportation. In District 3, we've spoken to all 5 of the candidates running. Longtime 20-year Commissioner Robert Stewart is retiring, so there will be a fresh face in that role for the first time in about 2 decades. We've also asked all the 5 candidates about their stance on several issues, including the future of property tax in Florida. Over in District 5, there are 3 candidates, including former Commissioner Regina Hill, who was suspended by Governor Ron DeSantis following her arrest last year for mortgage fraud and elderly exploitation. Interim Commissioner Shan Rose is now competing to keep her seat in the district that includes downtown Orlando and Paramore. Now they're both going at it to see if maybe she could get her job back after being suspended by the governor. Any thoughts on that?
Was she convicted of a crime?
She's still awaiting her trial.
Ooh, that's interesting. Maybe she shouldn't be running.
Kevin Mooney lives downtown and says he too should be more involved. What is your message to other people here in this area about being aware about even elections that are happening?
Be more involved, I guess. I can only speak for myself, and I certainly should be more involved.
And those polls are scheduled to open at 7 a.m. on Tuesday and scheduled to close at 7 p.m. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
As we get ready for one election, the Orange County mayor is gearing up for next year's race. Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings is officially running for governor. We checked today in the Florida Division of Elections website. He is registered, and in fact, he did so on Friday.
A developing story tonight. We are learning a 15-year-old will be charged as an adult. Investigators say he shot and killed another teen at a local YMCA. We told you last month Oak Ridge High School in South Orlando was on lockdown after a shooting at the basketball courts at the YMCA next door. A 15-year-old student is accused of shooting and killing a classmate after a conflict at the school got out of hand. According to the state attorney's office, Ja'Cory Redding will now be charged as an adult on multiple counts, including manslaughter and possession of a firearm. Deputies in Orange County are asking for your help to find this man you see on your screen. Investigators say he attacked a woman early Saturday near Lake George Elementary School. And even though officers are increasing patrols in the area, neighbors are still worried.
It's very concerning, especially if you're out here with kids and you have somebody that's a predator or you're putting yourself in potential risk.
To be a woman is, we feel fragile, it's scared. I think we need more protection.
They should have a security here 24 hours.
So here is another look at the police sketch. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Orange County Sheriff's Office immediately.
Well, a woman's arrested in Titusville after a fight in a parking lot landed police officers in the hospital earlier today. Now, police tell us two officers actually crashed into each other while responding to this call. One of them had to be airlifted to the hospital. Both are going to be okay. Police say Lakita Jordan was arrested for hitting another person with a gun in a parking lot. She's facing assault and battery charges.
Across Central Florida, hundreds of thousands of people rely on SNAP benefits to make sure they have enough food. And with partial payments now on the way, there are still so many unanswered questions, like how quickly will that relief get here? In Longwood, volunteers at the Sharing Center are working around the clock to make sure people there have something to eat. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver shows us how the largest food pantry is working to make sure everyone's needs are met.
Since the announcement of SNAP ending, we've seen a surge. We're already 1 hour in and we've already served 52 families.
52 families
52
today
families
already?
Today, within the first hour of us opening.
Is that more than you would typically serve in a full day?
In a full day, at about 35 families. So we've already almost doubled that number in the first hour.
What do you all need from the community?
We need food. We need to be able to provide a resource that we all need the most, a nutritious meal.
Any donations that are dropped off will be put to use immediately, and there's a list of staple items like rice, tuna, canned vegetables, peanut butter. We have that list and more for you on clickorlando.com.
And it's not just SNAP. Aid like Woman, Infant, and Child Benefits, or WIC, is also on delay.
Yeah, we hear from a single mom of 7 trying to figure out how to make it all work and feed her kids coming up. Jonathan.
Drier air continues to come in for a lot of us in Central Florida. It's going to be another cool night tonight, but a warm-up starts tomorrow before another round of cooler air comes back into play. We're going to pinpoint all the ups and downs coming up at about 10:17.
And a convicted killer in the headlines again, now for threatening legal action against the kids of the woman she killed, all after her story was turned into a Netflix documentary. We'll be right back.
Show me your hands. Turn around. Turn around. Where's your gun at?
An arrest from more than 2 years ago when Susan Lawrence was arrested for shooting and killing her neighbor through a closed door. Prosecutors say Ajika Owens was confronting Lawrence after she allegedly attacked Owens' children, and this wasn't the first time. According to police body cam footage, Lawrence and Owens had a long history of conflict. Now, that footage has become the top movie in the world on Netflix.
Yeah, The Perfect Neighbor was released just last month, and now Lawrence is behind bars, threatening legal action against the victim's children. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest breaks it all down.
Susan Lawrence is currently serving a 25-year prison sentence for the shooting death of Ajika A.J. Owens. Recently, Lawrence wrote this letter from behind bars accusing the victim's children of defamation.
Is there anybody else in the house?
This video, featured in the Netflix film The Perfect Neighbor, shows Marion County deputies confronting Susan Lawrence just minutes after she admits killing her neighbor, Ajika Owens. Authorities say Lawrence shot the 35-year-old mother through her front door following a long-standing feud with Owens and her children.
The defendant is guilty of manslaughter.
After a judge sentenced Lawrence to prison, the victim's family sued her for wrongful death. Now, Lawrence is responding to that lawsuit in this handwritten letter sent from Homestead Correctional Institution. Ajika Owens and her children were trespassing, Lawrence writes. Miss Owens did not knock politely and speak reasonably on June 2nd, 2023. She pounded and screamed profanities like a lunatic.
I thought she was just going to break down the door.
Lawrence told detectives she shot Owens in self-defense. In her new letter, Lawrence denies throwing a roller skate at the victim's 10-year-old son shortly before the mother came to her door. Miss Owens' children had lied to her, she writes. I now wish to countersue for slander, libel, and defamation of character. Now, at this point, Lawrence has not formally filed any sort of countersuit. An attorney representing the estate of Ajika Owens says he is not able to comment on this letter due to the ongoing litigation. Mike DeForest, News 6.
We have been following this story from the beginning, and you can read all of our reporting on clickorlando.com.
Time now to get a check of that weather with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, who is standing in front of a big, beautiful cruise ship that we are not on right now.
No, where are you going? You're in the best place already.
Thanks, Ginger. That's exactly. The weather can't get much better. I mean, can it? Unless you like it. We talked about this last week. Unless you like the mid-90s and the blazing humidity to go with it, I think most people would. Live look outside Port Canaveral or Brevard County. Really cool shot there with our Launch Credit Union camera. If you want to stay up with the forecast, and there's a lot of ups and downs, so rather than taking notes over the next 3 minutes, you may as well just download that free News 6 weather app. We have all the information you need to know, new articles, the latest forecast. We update that ourselves. Just download that free News 6 weather app. Mid-60s under clear skies right now at the port. It is a nice and comfortable 54 in DeLand, 54 degrees in the Villages. Also that mark in Denellen, Ocala. Can we get another 54? I think that's the rest of them. Palm Coast, we're also at 54. Popular number this evening, hour by hour going forward, again hanging around 60 degrees by 11 o'clock, and temperatures drop further into the low 50s by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. So here we go. Tomorrow morning when you wake up in Ocala, we're at 49, 47 in Denellen. We're hanging around 50 in Bushnell tomorrow. Kissimmee, we're back to 57 degrees under a mainly clear sky. I do think we'll see a few extra clouds come back into play tomorrow as we'll shift our wind a little bit. It'll pump in a little bit of extra moisture. That'll help to get our temperatures up as well. Pushing 80 in Groveland, Holopah. Good evening. We're back to 79. 77 in New Smyrna. Also that mark for us in Daytona Beach. Back to the low 50s right now in Jacksonville. It is a little warmer back toward Texas. You see the yellows there and the oranges popping back up. Low to mid-60s in Dallas and Houston. That's some of the warmer air that's eventually going to come our way, at least induced by the same area of high pressure. Around these areas of high pressure, we have clockwise airflow, and as that chunk of high pressure slides out over the Carolinas tomorrow, it's going to shift our wind direction off of the Atlantic and out of the south and east to help to pump in a little bit of Atlantic moisture to help get the extra clouds going tomorrow, but then also a little bit of extra warmth in play as well. So watch this over the next 7 days. We're back up to the upper 70s on Tuesday, mix of clouds and sunshine. I think more sun in the morning and then extra clouds build into the early stages of your afternoon. Wednesday, we're going to start things off into the low 60s, so there's our gentle warm-up. Back to the lower 80s on Wednesday, 82 degrees on Thursday. I think the biggest or the warmest days that we have are going to be Friday and into your upcoming weekend, but it's also on this upcoming weekend, late Sunday into Monday, we have our next cold front slide through. That is going to work its way Sunday into Monday morning. I think most of us wake up in the 40s and 50s on Monday. High temperatures on Monday, only back to the mid-70s. We're going to keep our sunshine or get it back anyway. The coolest morning of the season may be on Tuesday, where we could, for the first time, have a few 30s sprinkled in, especially well to the north of Orlando, maybe Marion County, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Hundreds of thousands of Central Floridians are in a tough spot.
The government shutdown means they aren't getting the money for food that they normally do. We talk one-on-one with a mom about how she's trying to make it all work. As the government shutdown enters its second calendar month, we're continuing to follow the impact it's having on everyday Americans. In our last half hour, we told you SNAP benefits now on pause for some 42 million Americans, including nearly 3 million Floridians. But there are a number of others who are getting hit extra hard with WIC benefits on hold. That's the Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children, something more than 6.5 million Americans rely on, including nearly 500,000 Floridians. Your Orange County.
Destiny Perez Prado must figure out how she's going to feed her 7 children this month, since her WIC and SNAP benefits are delayed due to the government shutdown.
It's still just heartbreaking, to think that for Thanksgiving, we might not be able to celebrate Thanksgiving, you know, have the food that we need, food that would be typically accessible to us.
Perez Prado's benefits pay for around $800 in groceries each month, and WIC specifically covers her more expensive items like baby formula, Pediasure, and other nutritional foods.
It's so expensive. Just a can of formula is the cheapest is $28, I believe, and it's crazy. Some kids need specialized formulas.
Between being a single mother, college student, and self-employed, she says getting another job to afford groceries is nearly impossible.
I have 2 children with autism, a little girl and a little boy, and then my third with ADHD. So for that, you know, it's hard for me to keep a consistent job, even with my degree.
One Heart for Women and Children is stepping in to help Perez Prado. Founder Stephanie Bowman says about 30,000 in Orange County use WIC, and many will also need extra help.
We've had over 500 calls just this week from individuals that we've never seen, we've never seen or heard from them before.
One Heart normally helps around 20,000 people per month, but the demand is rising due to the government shutdown.
What we've had to do is give families less food, and we never want to do that. Although we also want to make sure that every family or every individual that comes to us is able to get food.
Perez Prado says that she's working to become financially stable one day, but right now, priority is feeding her kids.
You know, they still deserve to eat. They're babies. They didn't ask to be here. And even if, you know, we as parents, we didn't go about it the way certain people think we should to avoid problems like this, it's still a problem. We're still here and we still need help.
In Orange County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
You can find out tonight's stories plus breaking news on News 6 Plus.
It's free to download to your smart TV or streaming device. Have a great night.